I'm Karen and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do the first date book tag. This tag was created by Kate at Kate's Book Date and I was tagged by her. So let's get started. The first book I had to pick was The Awkward Date, a book where something felt off. It wasn't exactly a bad book, but there just was no spark for you. And for this question, I chose Rebel Belle by Rachel Hawkins. This was not a bad book, just didn't like it. I don't know why, but everybody seems to love this and I don't. I can see that it's a decent book and I don't absolutely hate it with the fiery fires of hell, but I don't know, it just doesn't do it for me. I don't know why. There is something off. The second question is The Cheap First Date, a book that turned out to be less than you expected. For this, I feel quite bad about picking this book, but I had such trouble at the beginning to read this book, and that is Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. It took me about half the book to get into it. I found it really hard to start caring for the characters, and I don't know, I just wanted to care for them so badly, and for some reason I just kind of didn't until the end, and I don't know, I think the problem for me was that I've been reading this in little small bits because I don't get like long lunch breaks anymore, so I don't really have that every single day I can read for at least an hour kind of time. And then I think I finished it in like bigger blocks. Maybe I need to reread this. Maybe, did I read this wrong? Tell me. I don't know. It was just not as amazing as I had hoped it would be. And maybe that was my problem. Maybe I just went into it with too high of an expectation. I really wanted to love this. And I do, just not as much as I would have wanted to. The third question is The Well-Prepared Date, a book that turned out so much better than you thought it was going to be. And for this one, I wanted to pick Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. Now, this book was recommended to me by one of my colleagues, and the first thing he said, like, now, don't get me wrong, it's got angels in it. And I just went like, angels? Are you sure you're recommending me this? And now that I've read it, I am so happy I did, because holy bejesus, Laini Taylor's writing is amazing and beautiful and her world is so intricate and the characters are totally like amazing. This was totally a book I didn't think I'd like at all. So I got it like on Kindle for really cheap and then immediately bought the other two books and read them all back to back. So that was quite nice. Question number 4 is Hot But Dumb. You know, that book that looks really amazing, but the inside is not that good. And for this one, I have to pick Talon by Julie Kagawa. I mean, if you look at the cover, it's scaly and it's glittery and it's kind of beautiful, but the inside, unlike what the cover would suggest, doesn't have a lot of dragon stuff in it. I was like, where are the dragons? There must be more dragonness and things and fire and eating people, and I don't know, there was just a lot less dragon in there than I thought it was gonna be, and I just wanted more dragons. Question number 5 is The Blind Date, a book that you picked up without knowing anything or a lot about it. And for this one, this is gonna be a weird one, I picked Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. Now, the reason I picked up Throne of Glass is after I read Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor, I kind of started watching booktube videos and I came across Katie Tastic's channel and she was always raving about Daughter of Smoke and Bone, but then all of a sudden she was also raving about Throne of Glass. Now, this was way after she'd first read it, so I hadn't seen like her review videos of it or anything, so I didn't know anything about it, but she just kept mentioning it and mentioning it and mentioning it. And I was like, oh, I loved Daughter of Smoke and Bone, I'll probably like this. So that's how I picked up Throne of Glass, completely without knowing pretty much anything about it. And look at me now, I collect Sarah J. Maas's books. The Power of Booktube. Number 6 is Speed Dating, a book you read super fast, and for this one I pick The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. This is part 1, this is part 2, but when you go on Kindle it's all one deal and, you know. Yeah. I could have also picked Words of Radiance because I think I read them in like a similarly very fast fashion. I think it took me less than like a week to read this one and less than a week to read the other one. And just Brandon Sanderson in general, kind of, I don't know why, because his books are quite huge, but I read them really fast. Don't ask me why, please, because I don't even know. But yeah, I love these so much. If you haven't read them yet, just read them. I know they might look a bit intimidating, but they're just so good. So good. I want the 3rd book in this series like yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. Number 7 is The Rebound, a book that you read too fast after having a book hangover for another book. And this is not really like a rebound, but I reread The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson just after finishing Earth's End by Elisa Kova, and I don't know whether it was the whole book hangover kind of thing or whether it was the fact that it was a reread. I didn't enjoy it as much as the first time round. It makes me really sad because I love that trilogy so much. Because I feel like even if I have a book hangover, once I get immersed into like the new world, I'm fine. So I don't really feel like I have massive book hangovers. I just get very emotional at the moment and then I just kind of go, and next thing please. Yes, I do have the attention span of a goldfish. Question number 9 is The Perfect First Date, the book that did everything right. And you may have already guessed this, but for me at the moment, that is Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. I have a video that details in various fashions how much I love this book. I have been mentioning this in practically every video I've made for the past, well, yeah, I just love this book so much. I'm so happy that is the beginning of a series because I just can't wait to read more in this world. And Jay's writing is amazing and I love how he really stands behind what he writes. He's very vocal and he's very kind of, this is what I stand for, so you either, you know, take it or leave it, and I don't know, I quite like that. And this book is a bit like that as well. I feel that people will either love it or hate it, but I just hope most people will love it because I need people to fangirl with, okay? It's a very serious need. And finally, the 10th question is The Humiliating First Date, a book that you're embarrassed to read in public or to talk about that you've read. And at first I was thinking about the Twilight Saga because, well, yes, I did read all of those as well. And I actually quite enjoyed them. But then I thought of this book, which is Memoirs of a Geisha by Arthur Golden. There are so many things wrong with this book. And I first read it when I was 17. I got it from my violin teacher as a present for my birthday one year. And I loved this book, okay? I loved it so much and I was obsessed with it. I think I must have reread it quite a few times. And then I got a bit older and I learned a bit more, and then I kind of realized there's so many things wrong with this. I read a lot of articles about it, about how the geisha community was quite upset about it, of how they were being represented or not very faithfully being represented. And I get all of that, and because of that, I haven't reread it in a very long time. But at the same time, this book made me so kind of curious about other cultures and other worlds and different kind of people. So in a way, that was a positive thing for me. But yeah, this book it's a good story, but the representation in it sucks, okay? So yeah, I don't think I'll be reading this again. I still have it because it was a present and I feel bad throwing away books that were presents, and I kind of don't want to put this into my charity shop. And yeah, what do you think I should do with this? I don't know. It's really quite old now, so might as well keep it. Tell me what to do, YouTube, tell me. So that was my first date book tag. What was the worst first date you ever had? I think mine was probably when I went out with this guy and I wasn't really sure whether it was a date or not, and then we were just like walking around. I was having a good time. It wasn't great, it wasn't bad, and then he was like, oh, you're so unelegant, like you when you walk you're like a bloke. And I was like, but why be so mean? And then he turned out to be gay, so I don't even know. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll talk to you all very soon. Bye bye.